This is 37 Families, Season 4, Chapter 5. In this episode, we will be talking about reciprocal altruism and its role in formation of the synchronicity bands described in Season 4, Chapter 3. To start out, lineal relationships involve long sequences of behavior which is defined functionally according to reciprocal altruism. In that, a substitution or displacement event is an event which decreases the fitness of the individual so displaced, in that it obstructs or otherwise interferes with the verbalization of one's needs pursuant to the rationalizations afforded by the other. This movement is then reversed when the other linearly related individual substitutes or displaces for the first, achieving through that substitution or displacement enhanced fitness through the verbalization of one's needs. In other words, long sequences of reciprocal altruism describe substitution and displacement events, which enhances the effectuation of the needs of both linearly related individuals through the verbalization of rationalized feelings. It is this tit-for-tat of altruistic effectuation of the other's verbalizations which manifests or generates the higher synchronicity implicit to a lineal pairing. This means a few things. First, it tells us that synchronicity, that is, the process by which unconscious feelings are rationalized into workable language for expression, and subsequently satisfied by the other, is constructed upon reciprocal altruism. This means that the generation of synchronicity bands arises out of independent reciprocal altruistic relationships pursuant to effectuation of needs, by segregated lineal lines. Now, we can also see that synchronization of bodily rhythms, that is, the mirroring of states of excitation or relaxation, is fundamental to this rationalization process as well. Since we can see that mirrored physiological state generate synchronous internal states, which produces common rationalizations and verbalizations. But interestingly, this kind of synchronization is not constructed upon reciprocal altruism, as is the synchronicity produced by lineal lines. To be clear, the synchronization created by states of arousal or release is the product of a mirrored internal state, as well as a common rationalization pathway internally to verbalization. Likewise, since this pathway is common, it produces similar needs, which can be facilitated by the other also subject to that synchronous state. In effect, on the one hand, lineal links produce a synchronicity, which is constructed upon reciprocal altruism created by long strings of substitution or displacement events. Whilst synchronization produces a selfish synchronicity, which is constructed upon mirrored needs finding expressions simultaneously. Nevertheless, both forms of synchronicity or synchronization have the potential to generate nonlinearity as a consequence of a common effectuation of need. Although, it is probably fair to say that the resonance created by a reciprocal altruistic link between linearly related individuals is of a higher intensity than mere synchronization created by a common pathway of rationalization. From this common pathway of rationalization, we can see how the intellectual property theft ring uses bodily rhythm synchronization to produce a common rationalization pathway between two disparate individuals, the receiver and the owner of the intellectual property. Since the linking of states of arousal or relaxation is constructed upon a common conceptual framework for rationalization of feelings into verbalizations. In effect, what I am saying is that reciprocal altruism explains the synchronicity bands inherent to producing nonlinear spaces. But bodily rhythm synchronization generates the development of a common conceptual framework in a common way amongst both synchronizing individuals. From this we can see that the group consciousness of nonlinearity is of two kinds. One created selfishly through common needs effectuated by the other in parallel manifesting as a common conceptual framework for expression. The second created more fundamentally through reciprocal altruism, the linking of long sequences of substitution and displacement events, manifesting as the corresponding verbalizations produced by these events. That's the end of the podcast for today.